and welcome to the Law4U Learning. In this first series of videos we're going to be looking at contract law, and each video will be looking at a different element involved in the formation of a contract. The aim is by the end of the series of videos you'll have a good understanding and foundation for each relevant topic of law. Today we're starting at absolute ground zero with the first ingredient required at the birth of a contract, the offer. So by the end of this video you'll be able to confidently explain the difference between an offer and an invitation to treat, otherwise known as an advertisement. Okay, let's dig in. So to the layperson, an offer is, well, an offer, right? You know, when you walk past a shop and you see a sign up saying on offer £50 next to that killer jacket that you just got to buy. So you walk in the shop, you put your £50 down on the counter, or you use your card to pay or your phone, and you take the jacket and you go home and you wear it looking cool. Job done, deal done, offer accepted. In layman's terms, yeah, you could call that an offer, but strictly under English law, generally that sign's not an offer. Even if the sign literally uses the word offer, it doesn't always mean it's actually an offer. And if you get a question like that in your coursework or your exams and you treat that like an offer, you're going to lose marks big time. Because obviously English law being English law, it draws a huge line and creates a significant difference between something that's an actual offer and something that's an invitation to treat. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at some case law and we'll figure out exactly what the difference is so that you know it's as clear as a bell. So what's an offer legally? Think of an offer as it's like you saying, I will sell you a specific thing for this specific price right now on these specific terms. No negotiations, no counter offers, no wiggle room, nothing at all, exactly as it is right now. That's the offer. Which generally, even when you see a sign that says offer, that's not exactly what it's saying. It is an invitation to treat, and it's an invitation to treat because a price tag or a sign up is basically saying, look, hey, this is what I've got for sale, this is what I'd like for it, why don't you make me an offer? It's an invitation to start negotiations. There's no promise to be bound by the sign that says on offer or the price tag. Otherwise, when you walk into your local car dealership and you see the nice Mercedes you want to buy for £37,000 and you only want to pay $35,000 for it, you can't offer $35,000, can you? But if you regard that sign as being an offer and it's binding, then there's no wiggle room, there's no negotiation. So that sign that says £37,000 is an invitation to treat, and that's when you can turn around and say, I'll give you $35,000 for that car. And then negotiations start. Obviously it's going to turn out slightly differently if you walk into your local co-op and pick up a bottle of milk for £1.65, go to the cash desk and offer the cashier £1.30 for it. They're probably going to say no and think you're a bit crazy. But technically speaking, that price tag is an invitation to treat. If you pick up that milk bottle and the price tag is regarded as an offer, that means that when you pick it up, you accept that offer and you're legally bound to purchase it. It means you can't put it back. Henceforth, the price tag is an invitation to treat. It's an advertisement saying this is what we'd like for the product, make us an offer. Imagine if everything you picked up in the supermarket and put in your basket or your trolley you had to actually purchase. No room to change your mind. Imagine if you go into your local clothing store and you pick up a few garments. You wander around the shop and you decide to go and pay and you realise you've got way too many, so you go and put 3 or 4 back. If the price tag or the sign listing what the items cost was an offer, you would have accepted it by picking up the products and you'd be legally bound to actually purchase them. And that would be chaos. It wouldn't work like that. There is an authority for this, and it's a case you need to cite, so you'll need to know it. It's the Pharmaceutical Society of Great Britain against Boots the Cash Chemist. This case did actually change everything by deciding that in a self-service shop, which 95% of all shops nowadays are, where you go and help yourself from the shelf or from the racking, the goods on the shelf are just an invitation. You actually make the offer when you take the goods to the till. The cashier accepts your offer by scanning the item and asking you for the payment. So again, just to clear it up, because you could logically think to yourself, well, hang on a minute, it is an offer because they're offering it for that price and I accept it by taking it to the cash desk. It doesn't work like that. So to clear up any confusion, the price tag is simply an indication of the price that the shop or store is willing to accept for that product. It's essentially the shop saying, we invite you to pay us £1.65 for this bottle of milk, or whatever it may be that you're purchasing. Which again leads to the question which I've just covered. When you get to the cash desk, in theory, you could offer them 50p for the milk, or £20 for that £65 jumper. And technically, yes, of course you can, absolutely. In a car dealership, it's probably going to help you. Certain other circumstances and situations, yeah, absolutely, make an offer. But generally speaking, when you're in the supermarket and you go to the cash desk, it's not going to work. Obviously, the cashier does have the ability to reject your offer by simply saying, no, that's what you need to pay. They're not legally obligated to sell you the item at the actual marked price, certainly not at a price that you may offer. And that vital protection for the seller is exactly why the court ruled in Boots that prices displayed in shops are invitations to treat. So as a general rule, any signage or price tags that say on offer or a price of a product aren't an offer, they're an invitation to treat. However, of course, English law being English law, there are some exceptions. And that's the Carlill case that we'll come to shortly, which is definitely another one you'll need to know. But generally, it's true to say that an advertisement or a sign-up in a shop, in a newspaper, magazine, on a billboard, on television, or wherever it may be, is fundamentally an invitation to treat. It's fishing for customers. It's tempting. The case generally cited for this is Partridge in Crittenden. In this case, an advertisement saying Bramblefinch cocks and Bramblefinch hens, 25 shillings each. And the court held that was indeed an invitation to treat, not an offer. So again, as a general rule, even if something says offer, it's an invitation to treat or advertisement. However, going back to that but I mentioned earlier, sometimes an advert is so specific, so serious in nature, and supported by an indemnity or other element where the court will say, no, in actual fact, that's not an advertisement, that is an offer. This brings us to possibly the most famous case in contract law. Again, as I said, you need to know this one. It's the case of Carlill and the Carbolic smoke ball company. In 1893, influenza was rampant, so a company puts out an advertisement for their smoke ball. They claim if you use it 3 times a day for 2 weeks and you still catch influenza, that they'll pay you a £100 reward. So Mrs. Carlill buys it, she uses it, and she still catches the flu. She wants £100, but the company says, don't be silly, it was an advert, it was just puff. And after a legal battle in the Court of Appeal, they decided, no, it wasn't just puff. It was indeed an offer, because on the original advert, Carbolic Smoke Ball Company had deposited £1,000 in the Alliance Bank to show their sincerity in the matter, and because they'd offered the £100 reward for anybody who still contracted the flu, those facts changed everything. So the legal reasoning behind that decision, the ratio decidendi, is that that large sum deposited in the Alliance Bank showed a clear intention to be bound by the terms of the offer they'd made in their advertisement. The advert was specific enough to constitute a unilateral offer. So one could say that although it was an invitation to treat if you'd actually purchase a Carbolic smoke ball, there was also an offer attached to it of a £100 reward for anybody who contracted the flu after using it. Like I said, in English law, there's nearly always a but. So fundamentally, an advertisement, a price tag, a sign in a shop window, or even a product online, generally speaking, is an invitation to treat, unless there is an absolute clear intent by the advertiser to be bound by the specific terms or to offer a customer reward or indemnity, like the £100 customer reward compensation in the Carlill case. Okay, so let's do a brief summary and look at some of the cases additional to the ones that we've discussed that you can also look at or include in your coursework or assignments. So now you know the fundamental difference in an offer and an invitation to treat or advertisement. It's always an advertisement stroke invitation to treat unless there is clear intent to be bound by the terms of the advert. And obviously you've got Partridge in Crittenden and you've got Booster Cash Chemist as well. When it comes to a unilateral offer or an advertisement that contains terms so precise that the advertiser clearly intends on being bound by them, then obviously you've got the Carlill and the Carbolic Smoke Bomb Company case. For further reading, there's also Harvey and Facey from 1893, which is a critical reminder that merely stating the lowest price you'll accept for an item doesn't warrant an offer. It's simply supplying information. Then there's Fisher and Bell from 1961, which is a fascinating example of literal interpretation. The shopkeeper displayed a flick knife in his shop window, bearing a price tag. Despite the fact that it was actually illegal to sell flick knives, the court strictly applied the contract law principles that it wasn't an offer for sale, it was merely an invitation to treat. Which obviously on that particular case, something else worth mentioning, does raise the question of whether the law was actually applied in the correct manner for public good, as the shopkeeper was displaying something for sale that was actually illegal at the time, and because the court's ruled it was an invitation to treat, the shopkeeper wasn't actually per se offering something for sale. Okay, so now we've established how to make an offer, next we need to know how to accept it so we can lock it in place and get the deal of the century. So in part 2, the video is linked at the end, we'll be tackling acceptance, with some case law, an explanation, and the mirror image rule, and of course the dreaded postal rule, which might be old-fashioned, but it still applies. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates in the series, and leave any questions or thoughts in the comments below. I hope you found it useful. Now move on to part 2 and find out about acceptance. Thanks for watching.